All right, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me. We have a nice little small crew today, but that'll just make it a lot easier for us to answer questions as we need to. We're going to talk about Seesaw today. I know a lot of people are using Seesaw in different ways. Some people are just using Seesaw strictly as a communication tool, and by doing that, you're kind of missing the boat on what Seesaw is. So I want to go ahead and start from the beginning. I'm going to share my screen. And we are going to step through Seesaw. So let me just bring this over here. Everybody can see my Seesaw screen, correct? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. We do have a NSSED Seesaw Schools account. That means that we can have unlimited classrooms, unlimited teachers, but we only get 100 student seats. So right now, I think we're at 70. So like if you decide to add on to that count, just let me know because we're watching it to see if we have to pay for some more seats. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and I'm signing in as a teacher. And this is my class. My class is NSSED Demo. So when you first get into Seesaw, the first thing you're going to do is create a new class. Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to do is create your class. The second thing you're going to do is add your students. So when you're adding your students, they give you this little thing here. We're going to go past that and go to add students. And then if you just start typing a first name, a last name, and you click look up student, it'll say, oh, can't find them. And then it lets you add the name of the student. So just do it that way because right now we don't have a stable list of all the students in Seesaw. It's something we're going to try and work on, but we don't have it yet. Okay. So then you would click create student. Also, like you can see, I have a sample student, so it also gives you the opportunity to create a sample student that then you can see what things look like from the student point of view. All right, so I have Mickey Mouse and Tech Coach are my students. So once I've done that, the next thing to do with the students in order to get them enrolled is send home these learning codes for home. So the way this works is if you click print codes for your class, it's going to create a special code just for your class that only good for like 2 weeks. And then, or actually this one's good for longer. So they're going to give you a code so that you can then send it home. So I can send home Mickey Mouse's home learning code to his parents, and Seesaw's Tech Coach is going to get theirs. And all they're going to do is scan this account. They're going to scan this QR code, and that's going to put them into the classroom. If they're already in the classroom, you don't have to worry about this. But if you are starting this brand new, then you're going to want to send home the learning code. Once you've added students, the next step is to add families. And adding families is pretty simple. You just have to have a cell number or an email address. And then it'll send an invite inviting the parent or the family or the guardian to join. And you can have multiple guardians. You don't have to just have a mom or a dad. It can be anybody. And you can add multiple family members. And when they accept, then you'll see their email address and it'll say that they're connected. Okay. If it doesn't say connected, then they're still waiting. The invite status is they're invited, but they haven't connected yet. So why is that important? There is a Seesaw app for the students that the parents can also have access to, so that the parents can really see what's happening in the classroom, as well as this is a dedicated inbox between you and the students and you and the families. So if you send out a family announcement, the family can respond back to you through Seesaw. If you send out a student announcement, the student can respond back to you. And it'll all show up and populate right here in your inbox, okay? As you get notifications for different mailing or kids turning in assignments, they're going to show up under notifications. I also have a notification right here, nice bright little red with the 1 on it. That tells me I have 1 notification. We're not going to talk about skills because we don't use that here. We use the activities, the journal, and the inbox. So far, we've just kind of looked a little bit at how to do this setup. So one thing to keep in mind is the journal is the record of students' work, okay? So any activities I assign to students, when they finish an activity, it'll automatically post to their journal once I approve it. Kids can also add to their own journals. Let's say that the kid drew a picture. They can take a picture of the picture and upload it to their journal. Or if they did a worksheet of math, they can take a picture of it and upload it to their journal. So this is really a great way to start a student portfolio of work to be able to show progress. Before I go on to the next part, is there any questions about the students, the families, the inbox? Any questions? All right, I'm going to keep going. So,
one question.
Yes, Kathy?
I think back in March or April, I think my classroom teacher had us coming in as students, not teachers.
So that's a great question. So you don't want to come in as a student. See the wrench right here in the right-hand corner? This is your classroom settings. Your classroom settings is going to have where you can change the name of your class, the grade level, but see where it says manage teachers? You can add as many teachers as you want to be co-teachers. It's just that co-teachers also have all of the same permissions as a teacher. But then that lets you enter as a teacher instead of as a student. Oh. And it could be if your district set it up, like your host district or a member district set it up, it could be the way they wanted it done was to have you be a student. If you were using NSSEDs, I would suggest putting you in as a co-teacher, not as a student.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Here you can also change your class theme, you can change your icon, and then here's all the information about the student. So if I need to manage students, if I need the home learning codes, I can also see if I want students to be able to like and comment on their work, or if they should be able to see others' work. Do you want them to be able to see the classroom as a whole's work? I have it set for new items require approval just because until you get used to it, it's a good idea to double check what the kids are posting. And that's one way to make sure that you do that. And I also have sample student turned on so that I can see what things look like from a student point of view. Also in the class settings is the family access. So this is, do we want families to have access? The answer is yes. Here's where we invite them. Here's where they manage them. Here's pending approvals, and then we can allow families to like, comment, and share on their students' work. We're not going to be using the class blog at this time. If anybody's interested in that, they can contact me separately and we can talk about it. You can also set up folders to kind of help manage the different assignments and things. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We're going to skip over the skills, and at the bottom, you can archive your class. So if it's the end of the year, the end of the semester, the end of the grading period, and you want to archive your class and start fresh, you can. Also, if you need to reset your class QR code and family invite codes, that's where these are going to come in. So now I'm going to take you in a little bit further, and we're going to start to talk about what else can you do with this. So I'm going to click the plus sign, and I'm going to go to assign activity. Okay. Now, the activity library is vast. Okay. Now, these are just my activities, but if I go to community, I can look up other activities. So somebody give me a topic, and I can look up and see if I can find an activity for it.
Clothing for preschool. a unit of study.
Okay. So we've got weather and clothing, fourth season clothing sort, labeling clothing, sorting clothes. So let's say that I want to use the fourth season sort. Okay, I'm going to click on it so I can look at it. I can see that has very simple directions. Click and drag from the pile, sort them into the season, and then submit your work. Okay, so if I like this, I can assign it straight from here to my students. I can also, if I like it, but I'm not ready to assign it, I can click the heart, and that will automatically put it into my library so that I can find it. So when I click on assign, I can go ahead and assign it to all 3 of my students. I can click assign to 1 class. So now it has been assigned in my NSSED class. I'm going to go ahead back to the community again. And what you'll see is there are tons and tons of activities in here. They try to break it out for you. You can look at these trending searches, but you can also look by grade level, which I know is, subjective based on, your kids may be 3rd grade, but actually working at that kindergarten level. But there's also subjects. And you can also look for, if you find authors that you really like, people's stuff that you really like, you can also search for their stuff. There is a school library, but we haven't activated yet the school library because we don't have enough people using it. So there's really nothing in it. The name of our program is NSSED KT program. So when you go to sign up for your account, you're going to want to identify that this is your school, and it'll be listed. So you'll be able to just choose it. And then you want to let me know so I can make sure that I put you into our school account. So now I'm going to go to my activity library. And there are lots of activities in my library. And there's not a really good way to organize them. So I use collections to organize them. So if I'm looking for a wellness activity, I can click on wellness and I can see the 2 different activities for wellness. All right. I'm going to go ahead. I think I've already assigned this one, but I'm going to assign this one again because I want to show you just how differentiated things can be. I'm going to go ahead and click back to class, and it takes me back, and now the student has the assignment that they're going to be able to do. This is assigned to class. If I click on my folder structure, I have demos and I have wellness. So I can put things in different folders. If I schedule an assignment so it doesn't show up right away, then it'll show up under scheduled. If I archive assignments, they'll be archived. And if I have them on the calendar, it'll show me how many activities I've scheduled on that day. So that can kind of help me out as well. All right, so I've got my journey and I've got my journal and I've got my activities, okay? So the activities, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna log in as a student and show you directly from the student view what this looks like. Get signed in here. Oh, no. Student. Did I go in as a student? Just making sure I'm in as my student. Okay, I'm in as a student, good. So this is the way the student responds. So they see add response and they click add response. So here are the directions. Play the video, follow directions, get your heart pumping. Complete the prompts on the following pages, okay? So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and start the video. So as you can see, this is physical activity. So this is a fun one to get your heart pumping and get moving. And I love that it's the Bop It. I don't know if anybody else played with Bop It, but I had a Bop It and I played with it all the time. And so this is human Bop It. And then it asks you questions. What move was your favorite? And you can use the labeling tool and type it, or you could click the microphone and record. I really like spinning. Okay, and it's gonna bring up the, I paused it, I forgot to click. Let's see, am I recording again? I'm recording again. I wanna stop it. Where's the stop? I can't find the stop button. All right, we're gonna not worry about it. I can take a picture, I can do a video, so I can actually video myself and make a video to submit as my answer. So students can do a lot of different things in order to answer whatever the teacher has asked for. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just submit this. So now it's submitted. And as a student, I can see I have 9 activities that I haven't done. So I can see what's to do, I can see the in progress, I can see what's done. So I'm gonna go back to my to-dos to show you a couple of other activities. So another activity, this one's neat. Now notice how there's like symbols inside of the directions. So that's done by a series of tools that I will share with you. There are shortcuts, there's Seesaw shortcuts that do this for you. Also, this person has audio directions. So it's a great way to have the verbal directions, have the audio directions, have the visual directions. So we're hitting all different modalities there. And when you hit add response, it has you take a picture of yourself and then you can add the different labels. This one gives you an empty heart and you're gonna make sure that you make your heart full, and then you're gonna do a recording of yourself explaining what's in the heart. And then you're gonna turn that into the teacher. They also have things like this one. This one's kind of cool. Let me go to finish response on this one. So this one has a little movie embedded in it. So up here, let me get rid of this here. Oops. This is a picture. This isn't, there it is. That's what I want. So right here, there's a little video and it tells you to hit play and then hit pause. And then whatever the letter is, you're gonna use your label tool to tell me something you eat that starts with the letter you just had. I think it was K, right? Sure. And then you're going to move that. You can move that letter and put it down here by something you eat that starts with a K, okay? So just kind of think that there's a lot of different ways that you can actually use these different tools. There's a lot of different ways to create activities. Some other ones, you can do more advanced ones as well. Like this one, you're using a spinner. You're keeping track of how many times you spin. You're tallying the colors. Then you're creating a graph with those colors. And then there's information about those colors over here. So there's a lot of different things you can do. It's very easy to use. Students find it a lot easier than teachers do. If I go into my plus again and go to assign activity, I want to just show you really quick where you can create your own activity. So when I'm in my library, one of the options is create new activity. So from here, this is where I'm going to put in my directions. And I might say click on the label, is what they call the T, and add your answer. Okay, so I've added directions that when they're, if I did it right, which I'm not 100% sure I did, then this will turn into the letter T, like in the students' tools. I can add the voice instructions here. I can even add videos or multimedia directions here. Then I have to add a student response template. So whatever I have here that I want students to maybe, like under the example, if I want them to fill something in, if I go to upload, go to drive, let me see, I think I have a graphic organizer I can use. So let's say I want to use a graphic organizer. Sure, I'll use this one. And I'm going to click select, and it's going to attach the file to the activity. And then this one I would make as a sample. And then down here is the one I would do the same upload for the student. And then the student would use that one to fill in their answers. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to do. There are tons, and oh, it works. Yay, look, the T is right there. But there are tons of YouTube videos that are really easy to understand. And one of my favorite authors has a video series that is phenomenal. And I just want to point him out because I give him a shout out every time. If you do a search on YouTube for this guy, actually, if you look for Seesaw, you'll just see his stuff. But it's Chris Zahner, very weird last name. But he has published 273 activities. And his activities are all free. There's no like, I have to buy these or anything. These are all just shared with you. And he has a he does a great job on YouTube, really differentiating the different things you can do. Another one of his that I really like are like these ones, like I was a leader today when and then the students fill in the journaling on that, or I felt cared about today when, or random act of kindness, or he has another one that's I can find colors, and the students go around their house and take pictures of the right colors and then bring them back and turn them in. I can find numbers in my house. So he has just got a whole variety of really great activities that I think really speak to our population and allow our kids to be creative instead of just tapping on a screen and answering something with a tap. They can do a couple of other things. They may need support, but they could still work on these things. And these are fun activities. So if a parent or a brother or sister has to help out, they're fun activities. So just a lot of different things that you can do with Seesaw. We've only scratched the surface here, but we only have 4 minutes left, and I like to end on time. But I want to make sure, I want to find out if anybody has any questions. I know I've thrown a lot at you. This is a 30-minute quick brief, but if you need more help, you can set up an appointment with me, and I'm happy to walk you through it at a much slower pace. But any questions?
How can we set up an appointment with you? What's the process for that?
If you send me an email, my email signature has the link to set up an appointment. Okay. All my appointments are virtual appointments, so you can just use that link and set up an appointment.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? So if you want to use Seesaw with your students as more than a communication tool, there are so many really great things. I'm going to go to YouTube real quick just to show you how easy it is to find what you want. The Seesaw, the Seesaw community is really, really active. And so when you put in Seesaw, you will find so many things about Seesaw. So Seesaw has its own 201 videos that they do themselves, but you'll just kind of see that everybody is doing lots of great tutorials. She's awesome. That One Happy Classroom, she's really good. All of these activities are great activities, and a lot of them don't take very much adaptation for you guys to use them with your students. Whether it's you're going to do it as a group activity or you're going to have them do it on their own, totally up to you. But Seesaw is a great tool, and there's tutorials for parents, for teachers, and for students here. So lots of stuff to choose from, lots more to learn. But thank you for joining me today. I'm not going to keep anybody late. So I will be here if you have any questions, then I am happy to answer them. Otherwise, have a great afternoon, everybody.